April the 19th, 2014. That was one of the biggest days of our life. Me and my wife, Terry, found out that we were having a new addition to the family. So that was the most exciting day that we were expecting, because it was something that we planned, and everything just seemed like it was just going so well. And God just finally answered our prayers, His blessing. Something we prayed about, something that we really wanted. Well, as time passed, my wife, for 18 weeks, we got called into a room where they wanted to talk to us about the pregnancy or whatnot. And it was kind of emotional moment because we didn't know what to expect. So as the doctor began speaking, she started speaking on things that I really didn't want to hear, didn't expect to hear. Even though we knew it was something bad, we just didn't know how bad it was. So as the doctor began speaking, and she came up with that our daughter would have spina bifida, it didn't really click at the moment because we was unaware and blind to the fact of what spina bifida was. We didn't know anything about the condition. I don't think we ever even heard of the name. But as she began explaining to us what exactly spina bifida was, she began explaining and giving us details in a way to try to push us away, to make it seem as something that we shouldn't go through. We shouldn't do it to the baby, as she would say. We shouldn't want to put her through this because it's something that, said she wouldn't have a long lifespan, and, her head would be too big. She would have learning disabilities. She would be missing some of her limbs, just all kind of different things that just kind of try to break out faith. It's something that, I just felt like my spirit was being broken, because it was something I was so happy and excited about. And then all in the same breath, it's like my spirit is being taken from me. Like I lost everything in the same moment. And I began to kind of question God for a minute, because I didn't have an understanding of why this was happening to us. Like, God, we're doing everything in our power to make things to do as you want us. I don't smoke, we don't drink, don't go out, don't sell drugs. Like, my life is, I work every day, take care of my family, take care of my kids, try to show everybody respect. I'm like, why is this happening to us? Why us? So I began to question. The doctor just kept talking. I dropped my head, and all I can do is just ponder on everything she was speaking of, and I just didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do, and just held my wife's hand, and we just sat there together. And the lady said, you far along where in a normal case that we wouldn't offer abortions because the baby's starting to develop. But in this situation, we would go ahead and consider the process. If that's something you wanted to do, that we would do it. And so I'm thinking like, wow, so you really would consider aborting? Like, you really trying to persuade us to abort it? And she was like, she's going to give us some time to think about it. And to be honest, it was a thought from the beginning, because we were saying that, like, we didn't want to put a child through that kind of situation, to be in pain and have so much going through with them. So it's something that we considered, something we thought about. So at the same time, at the same breath, I needed to speak with someone about what was going on. And I have a close relative that I speak with on everything. I call him like my spiritual advisor, my cousin, man. We close, and we stay in contact, and we always speak with each other. He's older, so I always look up to him. So as I called him, I explained the situation to him, and told him everything the doctor told us. And I was letting him know, like, they giving us the option of doing this. And he was like, so what you want to do? So I was explaining to him how I felt. And, he gave me some real good information to consider, which made me get with my wife. And, we prayed on it. We prayed hard, prayed really hard. Then we finally came up to the conclusion when we got back, sat back down with the doctor and explained to her that, at the end of the day, God has the last say. So we're going to keep our baby, And I felt real strong and proud about it. Like, whatever she's going to go through, we going to go through. Whatever she feel, I want to feel. Like, I'm not going to just get rid of my baby. I want my baby. And it really made me think of it because I remember as being young, my mother went through the same situation, when she was carrying me, when the doctors had gave her the option of aborting me. They said I was going to be born with one leg and, the same situation. My father spoke on this. He told me all this. So he said he told the doctor he don't care what or how I was going to be born, that she was going to have me. And he wanted his son. He was willing to accept me as I was. And so that kind of touched me from there. I always consider myself as being a great man. I try to be a great man, a father, a mentor to my kids. So that's something that I wouldn't ever want to do. So at that point, our mind was made up. We wasn't going to get rid of our child. So fast forward, as time go past, the living room, we at that moment where it's time to have the baby. And from her condition, the only way that my wife was able to have her is through cesarean, a C-section, So it was my first time experiencing that cesarean part, so C-section. So, I didn't really know what to expect. So I remember us then prepping my wife, getting ready, to take her back, and they dress her up. And I remember getting a phone call on my wife's phone, and they asked to speak to my wife. So I passed the phone to my wife. I let them know, like, look, she's about to give birth. But they insisted it was an emergency. They need to speak to my wife. And so I passed the phone to my wife, and she began speaking. And I just seen her get quiet, and, she lowered her head. Tears is just dropping, flowing. She dropped the phone. And I was like, what's going on? Like, who would call and disturb you at a time like this? And what's going on, And she was just going through it. So then when she finally opened up and looked up and told me her mother had just passed. I'm like, wow. On the same day, right before she's finna give birth to our child, her mother had passed. They found her inside her apartment, unresponsible. And that by itself was a lot. It was a lot. They wanted to postpone, her delivery and everything like that because my wife was stressed, whatever like that. But my wife, she's a fighter. She wanted to just go ahead and go through it, We seemed like that was something that we were just gonna get past and deal with afterwards. So at that moment, we sat in there. They rolled her back, and I sat in the waiting room talking with my father-in-law and my brother-in-law. We were just talking. Then they finally called me back. I was so anxious. They called me back there to come in the operating room where they was, doing the procedure. And I sat in there. The moment that I was walking in, my wife, she was sedated, but the only name I kept hearing her say was my name, and it kind of touched me. It touched my spirits. Like, she's sedated, and the only name she can say is my name. She's calling on me, like she needed me. She needed me. That's all I got from her. She needed me. It's like, how can I ever let somebody down that needs me so bad? It's like she's sedated and still calling my name. Still she's asleep and calling me. So I sat down, behind the curtain, holding her hand. She don't even know I'm there. She's sedated, So I'm sitting there waiting for the process. I put my head down, I'm saying a prayer as I feel her body's being jerked from the cesarean for them cutting open. So them getting the baby out, and I'm just so anxious and so curious to what she's gonna look like, what kind of condition she's gonna be in. And I'm like, I just leave it all to God. It's like I just felt so positive about it because I just knew. It's like a feeling that spoke to my soul. I just knew that everything was gonna be all right. And so at that moment, they grabbed her and took her out so fast that I didn't even get to see her. So my first assumption is something went wrong. So I'm jumping up and they're saying, no, they got to get her cleaned off and things like that. So I didn't know what to expect. So then when they finally called me and told me I could go back there and see her. When I walked in the room, my mouth just dropped. And I just had the biggest smile around. All I could think about was, and the first thing I said was, wow, she is so beautiful. She is so beautiful. So beautiful. That's all. It's like her. So I remember after they called me in the room, going in there, and the first thing I said when I seen her was, oh my God, she is so beautiful. She is beautiful. She is beautiful, gorgeous. And I seen as she lay on her stomach that she had a huge opening on her back, about the size of a grapefruit. It was an opening, kind of look like a jail sack, where you able to see through, see her nerves and things like that. Just looked like it could be very painful, but she was just so calm. She was just so calm and just so beautiful. Head full of hair and she was just beautiful. I remember going back out, trying to wake my wife up to let her know how beautiful she is, and we did a good job, and they don't know what they're talking about. Our baby is fine. She's fine. All she needs is the surgery to close the opening in her back, which came upon right after her delivery. She had to have this closure for her back, so they was thinking about doing a skin graft from her butt and placing it on her back. But God is so good, she was blessed to have extra skin, enough skin to stretch to close the opening in her back without them having to do a skin graft. So that was just a blessing as it is. It was a blessing, man. They did a great job closing that wound, and also they had to shave the side of her head and place a shunt to drain excess fluid from developing around her brain, and place a drain tube in it for the draining of the kidneys. So that's just something she had to, go through as she was born, immediately, so it was a lot to soak in. The first thought you have after you have a child, you want to hold your child, but we couldn't hold our child. We couldn't hold her. We touched her, but we couldn't pick up and give her that embrace, that body, that warm feeling, that nurturing, that mother's love, that daddy's love. We couldn't give that, Weeks passed, we had the same routine, any chance I got from work, leaving on break or immediately after work, I go up there, I pick my wife up and we go sit up there and we spend time with our child. We probably was up there just as much as the nurses and doctors. That's our child. We didn't feel comfortable leaving our child at the hospital, even though she had to stay there. She stayed in the NICU for a while, and it's just a lot we had to go through. And I remember when it was about the time that we could take her home, we had to learn how to cath. we had to take a class to cath our child. They wouldn't send her home until we learned how to cath, each of us. We had to learn how to straight cath her because it's something that we had to do with her like I think it was 2 hours then, every 2 to 3 hours then, straight cath. And it was something that I wasn't comfortable with doing at first. She's a baby. All I'm thinking about is I'm not hurting my child. I'm not hurting my baby. I'm not familiar with so much, but it was something that I was willing to deal with to get my child home. I felt like she could be safer with me and my wife at home. So we did it. We learned how to cath and we was comfortable with it, and we got good at it. We'd do anything for our child, anything. So, when she came home, everything was fine for a while, but then she had a shunt failure, which is when her shunt got clogged. The shunt that's in her head, it got clogged up, and we had to bring her back for a shunt revision. Basically, they cut it back open. They cut her head back open, shave her head, cut her head back open, and basically revised the shunt to get it back working again, And not only that, she had issues with her, bowel movement. She didn't have them on her own. So basically, she had to have Miralax, a stool softener to soften anything up, to try to get her to have stools. Because if not, it would just back up. It would get backed up all around the kids. They showed us, a X-ray or whatever you call it of her stomach. She was all backed up, and that's what caused her shunt failure. From all the pressure. So she had to get admitted in the hospital from that. Just a lot of stuff we was going through, was enduring, man. Not to mention, my wife, she had to get back admitted to the hospital as well. I guess all the stress and everything else, she started bleeding a lot, and she had to get admitted back in the hospital. We spent Christmas at the hospital, back and forth. We had kids at home, and we had a kid in the hospital. So back and forth, we didn't spend that first Christmas, at home as a family as we planned, but we spent it at the hospital with our child. She came home afterwards, and it's like that was the best moment. The best moment in the world was when we finally got to hold her. I got to hold her in the rocking chair and rocking my baby, talking to her, letting her know who I am and how long I've been waiting on her. And as time passed, she just became this wonderful and lovable young child. She just, anybody that encountered her, they knew that she was just filled with love. An uncle of mine, he called her love. He just said she's a love child. She's never down. She's happy. She lifts your spirits up. It's like a gift from God. It's like I don't even know the word, but it's like a gift from God, from someone that can come around you when you're feeling down and just uplift your spirit. It just make you forget everything you're going through. She just felt like a blessing, It was a blessing. She's full of life, got a great spirit. She got a good character, I remember when she was younger, everybody, they wants to talk to a baby like that, baby, goo goo gaga. And I used to tell my wife, no, baby, we not gonna talk to her like she's a baby, let's just talk to her. We're gonna have conversations with her. And I know at first, it wasn't no understandable to her, but it's something that I wanted to do with her. It just seemed, I don't know, it's just something that we wanted to do, And it seemed like she caught on quick because she started talking fast, She started developing fast, like her motor skills she didn't have any lack of her motor skills, like how they said she was going to have a learning disability, So that's why I wanted to speak with her in complete sentences and things like that, So she caught on quick. She's very bright and intelligent. She was half speaking full conversations, and as she do now. So as time passed, we had plenty situations that come up, emergencies, dealing with her kidneys, dealing with her fevers, dealing with her urine. Now it's just it's like a lot of things that people don't know from the outside looking in that we had to counter. It's a lot of things that we didn't have because we had to make sure of our family was taken care of. Not just Kenydii, but our 6 other kids that we had at home. We had to make sure everybody was comfortable and everybody was taken care of. So basically, we had to keep a job and make sure that our kids was taken care of. So we worked every day. We made a lot of sacrifices and a lot of help that we didn't have, but we stayed prayed up. We prayed together every night. Every night, me and my wife got to get on our knees and hold hands, and we pray together every night. Every night. So it's a lot of sacrifices that we made. A lot of people don't know about. It's tough. It's tough having a family of 7 kids and one of them being disabled. Can't get around on her own, or even, around the house. We have to pick her up and, take her from room to room and things like that. She has a wheelchair, but she can't maneuver around through our house. Our house is not wheelchair accessible. So it's a lot of things that we deal with, but we're not complaining because, this is our gift. This is what God gave us. And this is what we choose to deal with. There's no exceptions about it.